All right, joined on the Batcave today with a special guest who's been in the music industry for quite some time. Goes by two different names, Dylan Reese and Ellis at the same time.
Okay, I didn't know how you're going to approach that, but yeah, appreciate you having me, bro. Appreciate you making the trip too.
Of course, yeah. Can you share with the audience just a little bit how you first got into music?
Man, it was 1984 when I started. No, it was feels like that sometimes. I started making music in high school. I just turned 33, so it's been a long time. It started out definitely as a joke and just kind of having fun with some friends, dissing each other, just kind of like classic, just like high school stuff, you know. But yeah, just fell in love with it pretty quickly and just kind of realized this is something I want to put a lot of effort towards. And eventually it just became the only thing that I do and the only thing I think about. So that's kind of the short answer. But yeah, there's a lot in between now and then, obviously.
Yeah, and you've managed to have different chapters throughout your career, especially over that time frame. But what kind of led to you deciding to go by two different names?
Yeah, so I did. I was putting music out under Dylan Reese for the longest time. Still am, obviously. But basically just kind of realized that I needed to draw a line in the sand, genre and like aesthetic wise, and just what I was aiming for. Just wanted to get a little bit more specific because I think when you're independent, especially when you're young, and you don't have a lot of resources right away, you just kind of say yes to everything and just go, yeah, I think that's dope. I think this guy's cool. I'll go on tour with him. Oh, I love this guy's voice. I'll do a song with this guy. And then you look back and you kind of realize, although all this music is good and I like it, it's hard to understand who I am and what I do if you don't know that already. Mm-hmm. So I had to kind of zoom out because I would be on tour with like a reggae band doing like a full R&B set, right?
Yeah.
Which like sometimes that's cool, especially in a live setting to like blend different genres. Like even right now, me and Ollie and Joseph are on tour right now. Mm-hmm. We don't make the exact type of music, but I think we also both have a strong grasp on what we do. Problem was when I was on those tours, people would come up to me after the show and be like, I loved what I heard. I love this song, right? And then hopefully they become a fan. They go to Spotify and then my top song is like a collab with Dizzy Wright or Sammy Adams or something that just has nothing to do with what they just heard. And now they're just confused. And they're like, well, do I like this artist or is he just all over the place? Or like, I don't really like this, but I liked what I heard or vice versa, you know? So yeah, it was kind of just like, let's make this as easy as possible for people to get attached and get invested in it. So I moved a ton of catalog over to a new profile called Ellis, which I still put music out. And yeah, it's a bit more hip-hop leaning, a bit more sporadic sometimes. I kind of just use that profile to have a ton of fun, work with friends, just be as prolific as I want to be without overthinking my brand or my sound or like making certain conscious choices with Dylan Reese. I wouldn't even say I release a lot less, but I release a lot more intentionally. Mm-hmm. And since I've made that shift, it's been like 3 years now, or maybe 4 years. I feel like hopefully it comes across a lot more intentional and a lot more dialed in and specific. And I think because of that, I've been able to do certain things on the road and like with certain collabs and all that. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot to juggle both, but I got into this because I wanted to do whatever I want with my time. So I don't have to close things off and go, I can't do that song because it doesn't match what I'm doing over here. I can just go, yeah, I'm going to do it as Ellis, or I'll do this, or that would be a cool thing to do. Like I do the Rap Dylan series. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just having fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. I like to do it.
Do you think being able to draw those lines in your own career has helped you manage other artists? Because that's like another piece of you as an artist is you've created opportunities for a lot of artists with their music careers as well.
I think that's part of it, but I think it just comes, you know, and I'm not I don't know everything about everything, right? Like I'm not a encyclopedia of the music industry, but I've just been around for a long time and I've never done anything else, you know, since I started. Like I've been all in from the very beginning. So although maybe my streaming numbers aren't super high or I don't have a hit song or like all these things, I feel like I've been in most situations that you'll be in as an artist, whether it be, doing a DIY tour like I'm doing right now, opening for a bigger artist on tour and like playing that role, releasing music in all different styles, labels, sync stuff, the publishing side. Like, I just feel like I have a lot of knowledge to spread, and I want to do that because I know that, when I was younger, I could have skipped some steps if I had certain resources or somebody to ask about something I was going through, So, yeah, I think it's that, but it's just time also. I've just been out here for a long time.
Once you've done like the DIY tour aspect of things, is it hard to go back to like, say you want to like go open for somebody else and be more hands off? But is that weird, like going around city to city and being like, wait, I don't have to be responsible for this?
No, it's the best.
This is stress free.
A tour like this, it's the most fun. But yeah, I mean, I booked all these shows myself, and it doesn't even matter because like no one cares who does all that stuff. But someone's got to do it, and if I want to like make shit happen, I'm just gonna grab the bull by the horns and do it. That's just kind of how I treated everything for the longest time. So, yeah, I'm wearing like the agent hat and booking all the shows. That takes, 6-7 months in advance sometimes. They're on 100 email chains. You book the local openers for each one. Then I'm also doing like the tour managing part. Like that would be like a separate person's job where I'm the point of contact for the venue. I'm filling out the run of show, like deciding who goes on when, how much time is in between, how much the tickets cost, what time we sound check, like all these things I got to coordinate. And then I'm also headlining the shows and performing and selling merch and meeting fans. And it's just a lot to think about. Granted, I love it. I love doing every part of it, which is why I still choose to. I think it's really fun. And it's always just it puts me in an opportunity to learn and teach at the same time if I'm like got my hands in every pot,
Yeah.
But like, for example, when I tour with like the Hold Up, who's a really good friend of mine who I tour with a lot, he has an agent, he has a manager, he has a tour manager. I'm just opening the show.
Just
like,
pulling up.
It's great. So, and a lot of times I travel with them too. So I really don't have to think about any of the logistics. I just have to crush my set and then sell some merch and hang out. And not to say that's like easy, but it's just less responsibility than this. Yeah. So no, definitely not hard. I would love that more often. Yeah.
You recently dropped an album. Talk a little bit about the perspective with this album coming out in a world where a lot of people are just putting out singles these days.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a way to do both. I put out an album called Jigsaw, December 12th. I'm blanking right now because it's been a long day, but there's either 11 or 12 songs on the project. I don't know if you know the answer, but I forget. But I know there were 8 or 9 singles from the project that were released like throughout the course of a year, essentially. So as I was doing that, I wanted to give all these songs their own chance and their own set of visuals and all these things. But I had a specific like theme and vibe in mind. So that's why if you look at them, all the cover arts kind of look the same. There's like a thematic thing that's happening. And then it all kind of packages itself together at the end. I've always been the type of artist that wants to do a project. I think there's a lot more to say. I think people that are really listening and really tapping into what you do have an easier time connecting with a project rather than just a song here, a song there. And I know as a listener, I want to hear full albums, even if it's not a conceptual album, just a body of work that feels cohesive and intentional. Again, I use that word a lot because I just think it's important. There's a lot of people making music, and not to take anything away from anybody, but I think there's a lot of people that make music because it's more accessible. And they're just like, yeah, it would be fun to like rap or sing. And like, that's cool. But I was doing this like before it was accessible. And I just know I have something to say. And like, I want to communicate with the songs, with the visuals, with the packaging of things. So it's just important to me to do that every so often. Like if I have an idea, I want to execute it, even if it costs more money or it's not like as big as it could have been, Yeah. It's just important to me. So, yeah, I think it's my best project. Honestly, I feel really good about it, and I'm on the Jigsaw tour right now.
Tour right now.
Yeah.
Is that like intention always been there as an artist, or do you think that's something you've developed over your time?
I think if you asked me 10 years ago, I thought I was being very intentional, but I wasn't, because I just didn't know exactly who I was, and I didn't know what it took to move with the level of intention that I do now, if that makes sense. I don't think I was ever careless or lazy about what I was doing, but it just wasn't as specific. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it does for sure. I remember I'd listen to your music here and there, I think partially through Abstract.
Sure.
And one of the first times I remember noticing your social media more was after you got hurt playing basketball. It was a bad injury where you had to be held up for a while. What do you think that going through something like that, you obviously have your music as an outlet, but everyone needs a physical outlet, especially if it's something you enjoy doing. How do you stay positive and still be optimistic with the music stuff and not go into a negative headspace when something like that happens?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Because it's not always as easy as just, let me just tell you how to do it. And you just do it. You just flip a switch. I think just like anybody else, I got good days, bad days, all the in-betweens, right? But I think I made a decision a very long time ago that I was just going to do this with my life. And I'm the type of person that once I commit to something, I'm just going to figure it the fuck out, honestly. And I might take 10 steps backwards to take 11 steps forward, and that might take a whole year. But to me, it's still progress, and that's just kind of the way I see it. There's certain things that I wish could have happened quicker, or certain things I could have figured out, in a different way. But I just know that my train's never going to stop moving. It's just it's a decision I made when I was 18 years old, So if I have a bad day, I just know it's not forever. If I have a bad month, I'm well, eventually this is going to kick back in and we're going to keep it rolling. I don't really have, it's also tough. Well, it's not tough. It's just the reality of it. Like I said, I'm 33. I've never had a job. I've just been doing this the whole time. So what am I going to do? Go work at a desk and just start over with my life?
Yeah.
It's no, I'm just gonna keep building this thing, even if it takes a while. It just is what it is.
Was that hard when you were younger? Friends going off and getting more typical jobs or things like that, with family and everything, wanting to see you working somewhere, or was that never an issue growing up?
Nah.
No.
Because I was so delusional that I just thought it was gonna happen next week, always. Yeah. Even when I have a song Superpower, and it's all about that. I talk about it on stage a little bit, but sometimes your delusion becomes your superpower if it's followed with a plan, right? I don't know if you're a sports fan, but there's guys like Jamal Crawford and J.R. Smith just have that irrational confidence. Lou Williams, they're just I'm just gonna pull this from 38 feet with two hands in my face, and it's that's a bad shot.
It's a bad shot.
But sometimes it goes in, and then no one thinks it's a bad shot, and that guy thinks he's gonna make that every time. I feel like I have that in life, and I feel like I'm a little bit more even keeled now because I'm older and I've fell on my ass a couple times. But when I was really young, I was just oh, dude, I'm just gonna be a massive superstar, probably next month, I'm just gonna blow up. So, it was actually just never an option to me. And all my friends around me, my family, were always really supportive. And I credit a lot of my mindset to that, because they were just yeah, man, you probably can do it. Go ahead. Even if, I leave the room and they're this guy is out of his mind.
What is he thinking?
So, I don't know, man. Yeah, I've just been going for it. I bet on myself always, Yeah.
Throughout your time as an artist, especially recently, you've managed to find some really big talent, especially in the independent artist space. One of those being Adam Yoakum. What is your relationship like with Adam, and how has it grown over the last few years?
Yeah. It's funny because when you put it that way, it makes me think I was on the hunt for a talent.
I know. I realize that's how I'm saying it all. No, it's
and that's not a bad thing. Because people definitely do that, and that's totally fine. But it came together about as organic as possible. Me and Adam just started a podcast actually called Soundcheck, and we told this story on one of the first episodes, but I'll give you a quick recap. Basically, I was living in LA. I've been living in LA since 2017. I was living with two of my friends. One of them had to move out he was like getting married, starting a family, the whole thing, just being adults, unlike me. So I'm like, okay, I got to fill this room. I was asking around, like calling artists that live in different states or like homies that I think would want to live in LA. We need to fill this room. I had a 4-bedroom house, me and Dylan Height, my guitar player at the time, who's from Minnesota. And it got to the point where I had to put it on my Instagram story because I was like, we're going to have to move out of this house. And I loved the house that I lived in. So I didn't want to like move somewhere else that's smaller. So I put it on my story. I was like, this is a huge gamble. Some weirdos are going to be hitting me up trying to move into my house. Adam was one of those weirdos. I didn't know him at the time. He didn't really know me either. I think he followed me because he was looking for a feature on a song and asked one of our mutual friends named DJ Yemi, who's a DJ out in West Virginia. Yemi gave him my name. Adam never ended up hitting me up, but he was following me. And then he saw that post and he's like, hey, I'm trying to move to LA. I just graduated college. I FaceTimed him just to make sure he wasn't like an absolute lunatic, basically. Yeah. We met for the first time when he drove across the country to move into my house. And then from there, we just became super close friends. He was making music and was talented. Definitely didn't know kind of like the direction of music he wanted to make. I mean, he's fresh out of college. He was like 22, you know? So, yeah, I mean, he could tell you better than me, but I think he just kind of was just kind of a sponge for that year that he lived with me because I already had a full-time thing. Like, I was on tour. I was coming back. I was writing with this person, like, whatever, just making shit happen. And he just got really good really fast. And then he moved back to West Virginia, wanted to be closer to his family again, but made a lot of progress, not only creatively, but just the way he approached things. And, like, he booked his own little, like, 4-city tour, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and D.C., and one other place. And I kind of helped him like set that up and like, yo, here's how you do it. Say this when you ask the venue this. Try to get this person to do this, whatever. So around that same time, me and Abstract were having a conversation where he also wanted me to step in and help and manage him. So in my head, I'm like, maybe I'm going to start a management company. And Adam is someone that I really believe in. And it was like the ground floor. Like he had, I don't know, a couple hundred monthly listeners or something then. So yeah, there wasn't like really a big secret or like this huge vision I had. I was like, I'm gonna find this guy. And he's gonna, we've just been grinding, man. Like that's really it. There's no secret sauce. It's just we put in a lot of work the past couple years. Adam's one of my best friends on the planet now. I was just on the phone with him on the way here. He's about to start his tour in LA on Friday. Just crazy because it's his first LA show and I'm not even there.
Not even there.
But yeah, dude, we're grinding. It's been really cool, and I have really enjoyed wearing the management hat and helping other people bring their ideas to life and offer my perspective to make them go more efficiently and hopefully maximize their operation, you know?
Yeah, no, it's wild to think about Adam going out to LA. Not to say that anyone can't do anything that they want, but just like knowing him, like not like knowing him, but just like listening to his music, following his vibe, like as of late.
Yeah.
And picturing him out in LA is just interesting to think. Like,
yeah, I mean, he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think there were certain parts that he liked, and he was like, wow, this is a lot different than what I grew up, and probably learned some things and also learned things that he didn't want. And same goes for me too. Like, I'm not in love with that city. Just, it's where I live. It's just kind of like I built a community and I kind of stay out the way. I'm not really in the industry per se. I just live in the city that it all happens in. Yeah. But yeah, no, he got out of there after 1 year, so he's back in the woods where he belongs.
Well, because you were originally in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Massachusetts.
What led to you deciding to make the move to LA?
Well, at that time, it was 2017. Me and my best friend, Bobby Hobart, we grew up together in Chicopee, and he always wanted to move to California, and we decided when we were in high school, like, yo, after college, we're just going to pick up and move over there and just see what happens. And I was also at a point where I was just started touring like on my own stuff and then also tour managing for some other artists and being on the road. I put out an album called Vanilla that year, and I was in a lot of label convos. So I was like going to LA to meet with this person or like going to LA to shoot a music video with this director. So I was like, okay, I'm going there like 3 or 4 times a year and staying there for a couple weeks at a time. If I just move there, I can probably make use of the network I already have. And also, I kind of reached a ceiling in Massachusetts in terms of what I could do. Like, it kind of just felt like big fish, small pond, or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. I'm from a place where, like, there isn't really any scene. Like, I had to rent out the Knights of Columbus to throw shows and, like, just have my friend's mom work the door and collect $10 to, like, do shows. There's no venues.
Yeah.
You know, I went to school in Boston, so, like, that's a real scene. But even that, I was, like, headlining a lot of the small rooms, and it just felt like if I didn't go anywhere else, I wasn't going to see growth or see things from a different perspective. I think even in my own head, I kind of thought I had it all figured out, even though I didn't. But it's because I was just in a small market where, like, there wasn't a lot of shit going on, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go out and challenge myself. And, yeah, definitely learned a lot from living there.
Was that overwhelming when you first got to California and just, like, seeing that, like, it was bigger than maybe you expected with everything?
Yeah. Mostly, I think, because so I went to a 4-year school. I went to college, graduated college in Boston area, played basketball over there for a little bit. After school, so my best friend Bobby that I moved with, he's 1 year younger than me. So I had a year of, like, in between to kind of wait for him to graduate. So I went back to my folks' house in Western Mass and basically was just running the studio out of their basement. I was, like, mixing for other people and, like, trying to learn to make beats and, like, do whatever I could. And I was stacking up money. So I was like, you know, like I said, charging for mixing, whatever. That was, like, my hustle to stack the little amount of money to, like, go move to LA. And I didn't have rent because I was living with my parents. And then before that, I was in college. So the main thing was, like, how am I going to pay my rent, like, and not get a job?
Yeah.
It was like, what? That's going to be really tough to do. And it's funny because we lived in, like, a little shitty house. And my rent, my share of it was, like, $900. And I just remember panicking about that when I had way more than that in the bank that was stacked up. I'm just like, I'm going to figure it out. Obviously, I'm not going to never make money again. Like, you know? So it's funny looking back because, you know, 9 years later, I'm still living in LA and my rent is way more than that.
Yeah. It's not 900 anymore.
And it's not like, definitely not rich, like, where nothing matters, but I'm not worried about paying my rent. Like, we just figured out a way to do it and, like, okay. We're doing it. But yeah, there was a little window of time where I was, like, panicking. And but yeah, I did move out there with, like, a decent kind of start on community. I had a few friends, different artists, and, like, even, like, Ryan Oakes, Arizona Zervis, like, all those guys, like, we all kind of moved out at the same time, and we were, like, connected on the internet to some capacity. So it feels like I had a little friend group to start, which was funny. But yeah. It's wild to think about. It feels like so long ago in my head. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, though, that you were able to, like, get yourself in the right situation and make it happen. Because that is, like, it is an expensive place to live. So, like, moving out there is, like, you're in the right mind to be maybe being like, how am I going to make this happen?
Especially compared to Western Massachusetts. Like, it's so small. Like, you said you grew up in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
It's probably, like, similar vibe. Like, it's just not a lot going on. It's a very slow pace. Good people, you know? But it's like, there's not much to worry about or think about unless you are creating problems for yourself.
Unless you're creating the issues.
Just a quiet little place, you know?
When you were first getting into making music, did you know you're like, I'm going to get into RnB, that's going to be my scene? Because that had to be like an uphill battle, at least initially for you.
Yeah. Hell no. I always loved RnB more than anything, but I didn't have any natural ability to sing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I guess I have to be a rapper because that's all I can do. Like, I'm kind of limited with my voice. So I just got as good as I could have with that. And then eventually I was just like, you know what? I got more comfortable, like, recording and understanding mixing and all these things and just, like, practice. And then once I started kind of making that transition, it took a long time. And I feel like I still got a ways to go as a vocalist, but I mean, I can definitely sing now, obviously. And, it took a long time. It was like a long curve to get to the other side.
Yeah.
It's funny if you play some of my songs from 2010 and then play, like, something I dropped last month. It's like,
who's this guy?
It's not even the same person. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, that's always been, like, what I loved growing up. I love that more than anything. And even, like, Motown stuff That was what I came up on, like Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye, stuff like that. But I just thought it was impossible for me to make that because I was like, these guys are just unbelievable, and I'm just some guy from Massachusetts. I don't know anything.
You like built those skills, and that's those guys probably felt that way at some point too, and obviously at some point that changed.
Well, yeah, especially now too. I've got a lot of help. Like Sham, who you just met, he's going to be on keys for me tonight. He's a really good artist himself too, but he's just like a crazy good musician. So, he's helped a lot with like, yo, try it this way, do this, and for the longest time, I just trusted my own instincts and like taste, which I still rely heavily on, but to have really talented like technical musicians around to help kind of guide me takes me a long way, And Dylan too on guitar, like Matt Gates. There's so many people around me that I trust and lean on for just like a certain level of musicianship that goes into my music. Because I'm definitely not just sitting in a room making those by myself,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that hard to pick who you want to go on tour with for that kind of lane too? I just feel like there's not a huge independent R&B lane at all. Like, I mean, there's Paris Bryant I can think of. And there's not a lot of smaller.
There's not
R&B artists to like pick and choose from.
Yeah, I think R&B is very curated sometimes, like because it's like the sexy cool thing to be. So a lot of times that takes money or like a certain thing that to get it to that point. It's supposed to sound like luxurious and expensive almost, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's not a lot of independent R&B. I mean, there's definitely a handful, like dudes that I've worked with, Reggie Becton, Maurice Moore, Ballad, Ye Ali. There's a whole just kind of like ecosystem of those dudes, and they're all super dope. And I've been lucky to like kind of tap into that. But yeah, as far as the touring side, I feel like once it starts getting going, it quickly becomes a lot bigger than it was previously because the music connects. It really connects once it does. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. And that's also why I think I've been able to tour in the capacity that I have, because you look at someone that has, 50,000 monthly listeners, if they're like an independent rapper, they're probably not selling tickets on tour. There's probably no one, like it takes a lot more eyeballs, and it takes a lot. It feels like there's a better batting average with like my style of music for someone to go, I need to see this shit live. And then once they do, hopefully they come back, and that's how it builds, because it just hits you a little different. I try to make songs that people can have moments to, and I think if you do that, you can become someone's favorite artist, or like that can be their favorite song, rather than like on the Ellis side, I just put on a fun beat and talk some shit. There might be a lot of people that want to stream it and go, hell yeah, dude, let's ride around to this, but no one's going, like not no one, but most people are probably not going to go, I got to buy a ticket for that. They're just, it's just like kind of like a little blip in the universe, Yeah. So I forget the initial question, but yeah, there's not a lot of independent R&B. I feel like it's either major or like nothing going on. So I've just tried to create my own little path and stay in my lane, work as hard as I can, and take it day by day, man.
Well, getting into like going from, R&B to the Ellis stuff to now, what do you see in 2026 for Dylan Reese?
It's a good question. Hopefully more of what I'm already doing, and just like continue to get opportunities to keep building. I know you said this is coming out in February?
Yeah.
So I'm on the Jigsaw tour right now with Ollie Joseph. Me and Adam are doing Jigsaw tour part 2. This will already be announced by this comes out. So that's going to be in April. Basically, same type of deal. We're going to co-headline, switch off as like closers, and just bring our fans together and throw small shows, mostly on the West Coast though. So I'm going to do that in April.
It'll be warmer.
Shit. Yeah, it's crazy cold out here in Chicago right now. In May, I think I'm going to be tour managing for Matt Corman and Ollie on their tour, which I think this will be announced by then too. So hopefully I didn't just spoil everything. But I'll be doing that. Hopefully just putting out a ton more music. I've got some stuff in the vault that I'm excited about to kind of follow the album. Rap Dylan 4 is done on the Ellis side. That's going to start rolling out in February. Perfect timing. And then hopefully I'm on the road again in the fall with the Hold Up on another like nationwide. That's still like in the works. But yeah, man, just stay on the road, keep grinding, keep making things happen, keep building with Adam and Abstract and the whole pretty management thing I'm doing. It's kind of hard to call. I try to plan out as much as I can, but some things just come right away and you go, yep, I'm going to do this, or I got to hold off on this, plan this for this time. Just keeping the train moving, man. It's a nonstop, just trying to move the ball down the field, basically.
I feel like you're on tour a lot. Like, a lot of people talk about how tough it is to, like, even go on a tour, much less set it up. How much in advance are you, like when did you start planning this tour that's happening now?
In July.
July.
Yeah, so 6 months ago.
Yeah, so 6 months, yeah.
Yep.
And now we're here.
In the April one, I started planning that we're about to announce in like October. So yeah, it's usually like 6 or 7 months out if I'm doing the booking. You know, like the fall dates with the Hold Up, I'm not doing that, but I know that those are in motion and like that's probably going to be a thing. I just don't have details to share. But yeah, it's a constant. I feel like that's also helpful with planning music releases because I kind of know, most of the time I know what the next 6 to 9 months looks like.
Yeah.
So I can go, I can do this then and then this will come out, you know? So like I started booking the Jigsaw Tour before I knew it was the Jigsaw Tour. It was just going to be, I'm going to go do shows.
I was making an album.
And then it was like, okay, I'll finish this album then. It'll come out right before. That'll be the branding. That'll be this, right? So sometimes it comes in reverse, but yeah, I try to stay on tour as much as I can. One, because I think it's just really helpful. Two, it's super fun. And three, like I said, I'm able to wear multiple hats. So even if I'm not on the tour as an artist, maybe I'm tour managing for somebody or, you know, trying to build a relationship. Like I went out with Chris Webby last year and with Ryan Oakes just to like sell his merch and like loosely tour manage because he was opening. So I didn't really have a lot to do in terms of like the logistics. It was kind of mapped out. I was kind of just like hanging out, being a helping hand, making a little bit of money, building some relationships, seeing different parts of the country, studying what they were doing, you know, kind of like shadowing and just like sponging things up. So to me, even that is still like worth being out there and just like figuring it out, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love being on the road, man.
That's one dude that I would love to come through like the Southeast.
Chris Webby?
Yeah, Webby. Yeah, I saw him when I was like really young opening for Tech Nine, and like now I feel like he's always in like the Northeast or like he's never in the area where it's remotely close.
Yeah, he kind of just has picked his spots and just like, I know what's going to work for me. I know what I want to do. Once you do it enough and have enough success, you can kind of pick your battles.
I kind of noticed that with a lot of people from that time frame, like him, Greaves. There's a couple others, but like they have like their areas they tour and they just like stick there and they continue to sell out shows. And it's like, if it's not broke,
totally. Yeah, if it's working, like just let it rip. Yeah.
You've obviously been able to see a lot of different aspects of tour through the last, couple decades here. What's been like the craziest memory you have, whether it was like in the early days, in the middle, or like now when you're kind of like running it?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of ways I could take that. There's one moment that really sticks with me that's more of like a positive thing is this couple came to my show. I think this was 2 years ago. It actually happened a bunch of times on that tour, like maybe 5 or 6 times. But I have this song called Harmony from 2021. And there were like 5 or 6 couples that came to the show and were like, hey, we use this song as our wedding song. So like you got to play this. So I like did the song. Like, it wasn't even on my set list. But I played it just for them, and it was like a whole moment. And like I meet them after, and they're just like crying. Like that's what I meant about creating songs like that are moments for people. You only choose one song to do your first dance for your wedding. The fact that they chose my song out of all the songs just really showed me like, all right, making an impact, regardless of like how much money I'm making or all these things. Is like this shit matters, So that was a really cool reminder on that tour. I think that was 2024 actually. Yeah. And then there's a bunch of like just funny bullshit. Like, you just always run into crazy people.
Yeah, you're never going to stop seeing crazy people. I mean, picking the set list has to be one of the most dangerous things you do as a music artist, because I feel like you're never going to make everybody happy. How do you go about choosing the songs you play and living on that hill?
Especially now, I feel like it's really tough for me, I feel like, and I'm not complaining, but I just
so much music.
I have so much music.
Yeah.
And I also don't have many songs that are just obvious. Like, I don't have like smash hits. I just have like a deep catalog of like, they all do kind of about the same. And like, if you're a fan of me, you probably know like all of it. Mm-hmm. But there's not like, oh, well, obviously he's going to close with this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have like one that just has 100 million or something.
Right.
So I've closed my set so many different ways and like started them so many different ways. I kind of just do like what I want at this point. This one I had more of an excuse to like really do what I want because it's the Jigsaw tour. So I'm playing like mostly the new album with a handful of, like classics that I feel like I love playing and I sound good, and people I know like they'll sing along too if they've been listening, But every night there's going to be, like, I had someone in Minnesota the other night. This girl said, Are you playing Hustler tonight? And I'm just like, what even is that? Like,
is that a me song?
And she's like, yeah, it's from 2017. I'm like, I don't know that song at all. So no, I'm sorry. She's like, it's okay. I love everything, but I just wanted to hear that. I'm like, it's always one different one. So yeah, can't please everybody.
For all of it.
I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best.
With not having that one song that you have to like close out, that's like the big song, but you still have like ebbs and flows when you put music out.
Sure.
Have you found that gets easier with time the more you're in this industry, or is it almost harder because you feel like you deserve to not have those drop-offs with stuff when you put something out?
Yeah, it's dangerous language when you say like you deserve something, I think, because you can work as hard as possible and do all the right things and like it still doesn't happen. And there's other people that their third song just goes to the fucking moon, and there's potentially no rhyme or reason for why that happens. So I try not to look at it through that lens, because you're just going to be disappointed all the time. Because if it was all based on like how hard you work or how consistent you are or how talented you are, I would like to think I would have a handful of those already, and I have zero. So I have no idea what to expect, and I just kind of trust that what's supposed to happen is going to happen. And if I'm proud of the things that I'm put out, which I can't think of a time I haven't been in the last couple years, like there's definitely older stuff that I'm like, wow, I should have did that differently, or that song was just not my best effort or whatever. That's what I'm content with. That's why I say Jigsaw is my best project, because I don't think there'll be any songs on that in 20 years from now, when I'm in my 50s. Like, I'm not going to be like, what the hell was I doing? I feel like I like all those songs. Maybe one of them gets 10,000 streams, one of them gets 800,000. I have no idea. It's up to the world at this point, To be, once it's released, it's like no longer yours. It's just out there. Okay. It's up for the world to decide what it is. But the value to me is still just going to be how much I love it, how proud I am of it,
Yeah. Over the course of your career, the music industry has changed so much.
Big time.
And typically I like to ask a question along the lines of, like, what would you tell someone starting in music today? But I kind of want to change it just because you've been making music for a minute here. Mm-hmm. If you had to take a kid who's just getting on his laptop today and somehow take him back in time, back to when you started making music, what are you having him do? I
would say...
So you're like back when you, like the year that you first started. That's the time zone you're in right now.
Yeah. Like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
I would say get a laptop and torrent every plugin and software that you can get your hands on and learn how to use them, because your life is going to be easier in the future. I had a lot of friends that were making music back then that would just like go pay for studio time and like pay an engineer like a big studio or whatever. And like they would have music out and, even be doing stuff, but they don't really have a skill set of being able to just sit down and create whenever they want because they don't understand the DAW or don't understand audio in general. And to me, that's been my most important skill is I can wake up in the middle of the night and just make a song. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have to pay anybody. I just like go in my studio, I have my computer, and just do whatever I want. And I can get it sounding 90% to the point where it's like going to come out. So that would probably be the best thing is like own the means of your operation in a sense. So you don't have to depend on anybody else because that's going to become more and more valuable as time goes on. And obviously today that's definitely true. Like if you're paying for studio time and don't know how to use a computer right now, you're fried. You're absolutely fried. You're going to have a tough time.
Well, I appreciate you taking so much time today on your busy tour schedule. It means a lot.
I'm glad we got to fit it in. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it a lot. Best of luck on the rest of the Jigsaw tour and excited to see the show tonight.
Appreciate you. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.